we at SaskTel had a challenge that we had been trying to accomplish for about 5 years to date. And that main challenge has always been we wanted to get a full view of our customers, or the 360-degree customer view. But there was two major challenges that we had with regards to this. The first challenge, as you can see here, is multiple different systems had a component of that information that we needed to bring together, and all those systems were connected uh, not proportionally to each other. So we would have, for instance, our CRM system would be connected to our ERP system. Our campaign system would feed into our CRM system. Our website would connect to our customer service portal or our field services portal. Everything didn't mesh well together, and we couldn't get that 360-degree view with the tools that we had at the time. The second big challenge that we had was our data was too large and too complex. So you can imagine the interconnectivity between all these different systems, the multiple different wires, and anybody who's familiar with connection theory, you can see how once you get past a certain level, and we got 8 different elements here, you're getting in the millions of different connections within the data, something that is not manageable by a human person. So how did we eat this elephant? So we looked at the challenges that we were having, and we said, we're not going to be able to do this alone. So we said, let's A, bring in the experts, but B, let's eat this elephant one bite at a time. We decided to first focus on our, actually, you can go back to the previous stage.
Sorry,
that's fine. We wanted to focus on our CRM system, and the main reason for that was we wanted to make sure, like our CRM system, we use Salesforce. We wanted to make sure that that was going to be the bedrock for our 365 customer view going forward. And we brought in SalesChoice as our AI experts to help us go through this journey. Now the next slide. So the big thing that, as Cindy pointed out in her previous slide, there were several different areas that we were challenged to look at within each of these different components as we went forward. So the first thing that we had a hard look at was governance. So we asked, what AI governance processes are we going to need? And for us, what it was we knew that we didn't have the expertise in-house. So again, like I said, we needed to coordinate with the experts that are out there that we had access to. But part of that was we needed to communicate and collaborate in a way that was meaningful and would bring value back into SaskTel. So we created, so my predecessor created a group called the SEAL team, or the Sales Excellence Acceleration Lab. And this group directly works with SalesChoice to help on governance, on governance, process design, and also the tools and technologies that we implemented over the last 4 years. From there, we started to develop the strategy. So we wanted to modernize our CRM strategies to take advantage of the AI processes and practices. Our organization has always been based on a hypothesis verification process. So that's our legacy of our systems, our strategies. People had a hunch. We looked at the data to prove that hunch. The one big switch that we did over these last 4 years is we separated ourselves from that legacy mentality. We said having a hypothesis and proving it is just looking for something that you want to see as an outcome and backing it up with whatever data you can in whatever way you can. It doesn't provide value. So we took the approach and we said, what were the outcomes that we were looking for? What are the things that we are trying to achieve? And we looked at the data and said, ask the questions: are we actually meeting? What does the data say about our current state within the outcomes that we want? And we started to develop our strategies around what was the data telling us, not what are we trying to prove the data to tell us. Third, we worked very closely with SalesChoice to go through our people, our skill sets. the skills that we wanted to modernize within our operations. So the biggest one that that happened right off the bat is we had our HR department work with Cindy and her team to reevaluate all of our job descriptions. Some of our job descriptions had been the same since the 1990s, so almost over 20 years of not being reviewed. So we went through and we modernized those job descriptions. From that, we then went back to the idea of the questions. What were the outcomes we wanted? And we built the KPIs around what were the outcomes we wanted to have. Having these KPIs is great, but now we needed to transition people. We updated our rewards and recognition system so that it aligned with those KPIs. The carrot and stick approach to sort of encourage and promote those who were following down the path of the transition path to where we want them to be, and punishments for those who were trying to stay in the old model that was not being productive for SaaStel. And finally, we went on a recruitment for new leaders, new ways of thinking of things. We adopted a more agile and iterative methodology for how we look at how we do business. What was working, what wasn't working, how can we build on what was working, how can we share the skill sets and the practices that were leading to success. From there, we wanted to become more customer centric. So part of that was modernizing our sales processes to be more transparent and focused on progress. Specifically, in our case, our main goal was to meet we wanted to meet or exceed the industry standard for base revenue growth. So base revenue growth is 2.3% is the industry standard. We wanted to meet or exceed that. Everything we did within our processes, we highlighted with the information that was provided from our new systems and our new tools to feed back into our processes and strategies so that we can figure out what it is that we need to do to adjust to make us move forward towards those goals. One of the byproducts of this is that we went through our entire division's RACI and reevaluated it from the ground up, changing roles and responsibilities throughout our organization to make sure they better align with the strategies that we're implementing. Throughout this all, you would ask, what was the quality of our data? And in short, not good. It was functional. It met our needs for many, many, many years. But 5 years of using Salesforce, we had multiple areas of tech debt within our data. The AI that we implemented, SalesInsights that we implemented, showcased how much technical debt we actually had. And this is one of the side effects, and we'll be going through this a little bit later on in the slides. But it was very interesting to say that we always knew there was legacy fields that were not being utilized, but it wasn't until we actually turned on the engine and it was like, oh, hey, look up how much junk we have in the trunk, to say to make a point about it. The result of this was that it gave us a very clear line of data remediation tasks that we can establish to go forward and clean up some of that old garbage within it, get to that data completeness and data accuracy that we need to give us the information to make better decisions. So what sort of tools do we bring in? So we always had Salesforce as our primary CRM system. We implemented SalesChoice's Sales Insight engine, and that was the main framework of the machine learning engine. Can we ask you to please mute your microphone? Thank you. The Sales Insight, which is our main AI predictive model that we had implemented. Further from there, we started to develop some of the other technologies that we needed to enhance how we are going to make our sales. So Microsoft Fabric, we upgraded our Power BI and reporting to a Fabric instance, and on top of it, we brought in Zoom Info for some of our new sales growth, especially outside the province of Saskatchewan. Finally, as an organization, what is the best practices and how far are we from that? So this is where, again, we really leveraged the expertise of SalesChoice to help modernize our practices and make them align closer to what the industry is looking for. We're on a long path still to get there, but we've made huge strides towards that. Next slide. So sales, like I said, SalesInsights was the AI tool that we implemented at SaskTel, and the main thing that SalesInsights provides for us is it provides two major components. One is a prediction rating on each opportunity that we have in the hopper, and then the second is a rating classification. So the big thing with this is that it gave you an idea based on the machine learning that no human would be able to do. It was just too much data, too many connections, too many interactions. So no human would ever be able to do this analysis to be able to figure out this rating. But a prediction rating that was much more accurate than our human estimation that we were doing prior to that. And then second, the rating system of it's just three ratings, A, B, and C, top, mid, bottom. That allowed sales reps to directly see what were the opportunities they should be going after right now, and what opportunities they should be putting off, and what opportunities they should avoid. This also provided, when we looked at the managers for our sales reps, this provided them a pulse of their team. It gave them an idea of areas that were potential risks or issues that they could address at an earlier level. And then finally, at the director level, our directors never had a 100% accurate view into whether their strategies, marketing strategies, were working. Many times, this process would be months, or even quarters, or even years behind what it was. So they would have to wait very long period of time to see whether or not a strategy was working, and if it was working, what type of customers was it working on. This tool allowed them to say, okay, we're seeing within this industry, within this line of business, this sort of increase and this sort of benefit. The next slide. One of the tools that came along with this is, so we developed all of the KPIs where we wanted to measure where we wanted to go in the future, the outcomes that we wanted to see. The Sales Insight tool allowed us to embed those KPIs directly into the tool itself, allowing for that instant feedback on why is it that our opportunities were not giving the predictions that the sales reps thought they should be giving. So we were able to take that information and use it for long-term planning into what was effective, what wasn't effective, and where we are in that progress of maturing our sales practices to better reach that goal of 2.3% base revenue growth. The one thing that we're seeing with this is that we're seeing a lot of factors that are coming out within our sales reps. So we have, within every organization, you have your top sales reps, you have your mid sales reps, and you have your bottom sales reps. That's the same within any organization. We were finding that as we started to analyze our top sales reps, we started to see certain actions, certain patterns, certain things that they did that were different from every other sales reps. Our managers and our directors were able to capture those skills and provide them to our sales reps that were not in that top category. This has raised the general quality of our sales reps overall across the organization, well, business sales and solutions, to the point where some of our worst sales reps have now become decent sales reps. Many of our decent sales reps have now pushed themselves up into the top tier of sales reps, and our top tier sales reps have produced more than they've ever been able to do previously. Next slide. So I have a background in data architecture and data science. So this is one of the areas that I totally love. If I had this tool 10 years ago, I would have been, it would have been ecstatic. So part of the data completeness functionality of the tool was that, and this could be utilized across any type of AI tool that does analytics, machine learning on your system. It provided a clear visibility into what was providing the prediction ratings within your organization. The one thing that and this is something you're going to find with any tool that you implement, any AI tool you implement in your organization. This is something we learned with multiple different areas within using Sales Insight. There is the business case model that your AI model was built for, and that's what you want to make your decision around how you're going to implement that within your system. But the nice thing is that there's these niche cases that come off to the side of them that provide additional value that you didn't actually realize was there. And within the data completeness, one of the biggest things with this was that we had a problem with people not getting their data in the system. So anybody that does any sort of searching into the memes around CRM systems will eventually come across the one meme where if it's not in the CRM, it doesn't exist. And that was one of the things that became very clear with this is we were able to look at the data and saying people are not filling in certain critical information that was providing very valuable information to both the AI tool, but also our organization as a whole. So we started implementing Boy Scout methods at our sales reps levels in order to boost up the completeness of our system. Next slide. And as a result, as you can see here, over time, more and more of the critical information became visible. And our accuracy of our predictions within the AI model became more and more aligned to what the actual real world scenario was. So as an example, as of this morning, we have a 90% accuracy rate with every prediction that the model says that if we're going to win this, we end up winning it. 90% accuracy rate. And then coincidentally, also, we have a 60% that if it says we're going to lose it, we actually do lose it. So that one I'm fine with being bad because it means that 40% of the stuff that it said that we're going to lose, we did actually end up winning those opportunities. One very great side effect that came out of this was, as you can see, there's certain fields that were always red. A lot of those were our legacy fields. These were the points that it instantly highlighted the problem within our data source and said to us, these are the fields that we need to look at for data remediation tasks. So they said, like, every AI tool you have, and when you go to evaluate an AI tool to implement within your organization, you need to have that ROI that you're going to be looking for, and you need to have the business case that you're buying into. But do be aware and do have people within your organization that will look at these sort of things. Like, so as an example, our data scientists team looked at this and said, hey, I didn't know that legacy field still existed in our database. We need to put in a ticket to get that removed. Oh, hey, I didn't know that we had moved to this other field rather than this field. This field's now a legacy field. It would have been nice if, if IT had told us that that was the legacy field. So things that it gave us value beyond just saying, fill in your data. It was, hey, here's a bunch of things, areas that you can actually improve on. Next slide. So one thing that we appreciated at SaskTel was SalesChoice provides an accountability component to their models. So specifically, we have an entire thing of talking about the accuracy. And so I already alluded to this, that we have a 90% accuracy in the predictions of closed won to actually being won, and a 60% accuracy of closed lost and actually losing the opportunity. Once that trust was built into the system and the model, the one thing that became very interesting with this is that we were able to see these opportunities and analyze these opportunities. And this is where predictively, or well, we empirically, we knew that this was the case, but this confirmed it. Our top tier sales reps, if they said, if the algorithm said they were going to win it, they won it. If the algorithm said they're going to lose it, they lost it. And you could look at the pattern, their data entry, their processes and procedures, the different tools that they would use and how they would use those, how they interact with their customers. and you could narrow in right on into what it was that they were doing that was leading to success. We could then take that and apply it to our mid-tier and bottom-tier sales reps to help boost up their capabilities. So like I said, again, the business case was, here's how you build trust in the tool. We saw it and said, hey, now that we trust this tool, here's an additional benefit of this system. We can now use this to basically coach our people to be becoming better sales reps. Next slide. So this is David Ekstrand. He's our CIO and the VP of Business Sales and Solutions. And this is a testimony to what he provided for the work that SalesChoice provided to us. The sales roles involved considerably more analytical and sales leadership skills than any social encounters or contract signing roles in previous decades. And this is alluding to a larger thing that we were seeing within sales, within SaaStel. When you go to implement AI, AI is not intended to replace people, and Cindy brought this up. It's not a replacement. If you go into the process thinking it's going to be a replacement, that you can reduce your overhead, you're going at this the wrong way. There's two components that always come to mind when I think about proper application of AI. First is, so I have a military background, and the military has been working with active in-field AI going way back into the 1990s. And some of the earliest AI deployed had some very negative effects. Automated turrets that luckily didn't have any ammo in it that would turn and identify any human and start pulling the trigger. So NATO very sensibly created a policy called the human pulls the trigger. So with AI, a human must always pull the trigger. You must always have a human making a decision. The AI is there to make your life better, but a human must always make the decision. Second is that every job that you have, every task that you do, you have administrative tasks that you have to do with it. Every organization has bureaucracy. It's unavoidable. AI tools allow you to diminish that administrative burden. And when you diminish that administrative burden, you increase the value of the employee. They can do what they are best at. People, like, you hire people because they do a job, and they do a job better than anybody else that you could have hired for that position. And by reducing the administrative burden, you're increasing the value of the people that you have. You're providing more value to your organization. So one thing I always recommend, and this is, like I said, we've had a lot of success with the Sales Insight engine. We've seen a great increase to our revenue and our margin over the last year, and it's been a great journey. It's been a hard journey, but it's been a great journey. And the key thing to that has always been make people the best version of themselves.